You've seen the headlines. Bitcoin hits $100,000. Some guy turns $1,000 into $1 million. A celebrity tweets about some coin you've never heard of, and suddenly everyone's talking about it. And somewhere in the middle of all this noise, you're just trying to figure out what actually is cryptocurrency. Like, genuinely, what is it? Because every time you try to Google it, you end up more confused than when you started. Blockchain this, decentralized that, digital wallets, private keys. It starts sounding like a foreign language designed specifically to make you feel stupid. My name is Zach, and I help people understand complicated financial concepts without the jargon, without the hype, and without trying to sell you anything. And today, I want to give you the clearest, most honest explanation of cryptocurrency you've probably ever heard. Not to convince you to buy it, not to scare you away from it, just to actually explain what it is, how it works, and what you need to know to make your own informed decision. Let's start completely from scratch. What problem was cryptocurrency invented to solve? Back in 2008, someone, or a group of people, nobody actually knows, published a document under the name Satoshi Nakamoto. This document described a new kind of money that could be sent between two people anywhere in the world without needing a bank, a government, or any middleman whatsoever. And the timing wasn't random. This was right in the middle of the 2008 financial crisis, when banks had just collapsed the global economy through bad decisions and outright fraud, got bailed out with taxpayer money, and faced almost zero consequences. A lot of people were furious. The idea of money that didn't depend on banks or governments to function suddenly sounded very appealing. That document became Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency. But here's the fundamental question. If there's no bank involved, how do you stop someone from cheating? With regular money, your bank keeps a record. They know you have $2,400 in your account. They know when you spend $200 on groceries. They're the trusted middleman who makes sure you can't spend the same money twice. But if you remove the bank, how does anyone know who owns what? This is where the blockchain comes in, and I promise this is simpler than it sounds. Imagine a shared notebook. Thousands of people all over the world have identical copies of this notebook. Every time someone sends cryptocurrency to someone else, that transaction gets written into every single copy of the notebook simultaneously. Nobody can erase it. Nobody can change it. Because if you tried to alter your copy, it wouldn't match the thousands of other copies out there, and everyone would immediately know you were cheating. That shared notebook is the blockchain. It's just a public record of every transaction that's ever happened, copied across thousands of computers worldwide. There's no central authority controlling it, no single company, no government, no bank. The system itself enforces the rules. And because everyone can see the record, but nobody can change it, you get something that functions like trust without actually needing to trust any individual person or institution. That's genuinely revolutionary. For the first time in human history, two strangers on opposite sides of the planet can exchange value directly without needing anyone in the middle to make sure nobody cheats. Now, you might be wondering, if transactions are public, doesn't that mean everyone can see your financial history? Sort of, but not exactly. Here's how it works. When you use cryptocurrency, you don't have an account with your name on it. You have what's called a wallet address, a long string of random letters and numbers. Transactions are public, but they're attached to that address, not to your real identity. It's a bit like everyone being able to see all the transactions happening, but nobody knows which wallet belongs to which person unless they specifically link it. So how does new cryptocurrency actually get created? This confused me for a long time. With regular money, the government tells the central bank to print more. Simple. With Bitcoin, new coins get created through a process called mining. And here's the plain English version of what that means. Remember those thousands of computers all over the world maintaining that shared notebook? Those computers are doing complicated mathematical work to verify and add new transactions to the record. As a reward for doing that work, the computers that successfully add a new batch of transactions receive some newly created Bitcoin. That's mining. It's essentially computers competing to do accounting work, and the winner gets paid in new coins.
This system also controls how much Bitcoin ever exists. The original design caps Bitcoin at 21 million coins total. Ever. No exceptions. That's baked into the code itself. Nobody can change it. And this scarcity is a big reason why some people treat Bitcoin like digital gold. There's a hard limit on supply, which theoretically protects it against the inflation that eats away at regular currency over time. Now here's where things get more complicated, because Bitcoin is just one cryptocurrency. There are literally thousands of others. Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Litecoin, the list goes on and on. Some of them are serious projects trying to solve real problems. Some of them are basically jokes that somehow became worth real money. And some of them are outright scams designed to take your money and disappear. Ethereum, for example, took the basic idea of cryptocurrency and added something called smart contracts. Here's the simple version. A smart contract is an agreement written in code that automatically executes when certain conditions are met. No lawyer needed, no enforcement needed. If condition A happens, then B automatically occurs. Imagine buying a house where the moment your payment clears, ownership automatically transfers to you. No closing attorney, no title company, no waiting period. The code just does it. That's what Ethereum makes possible, and it opened up entirely new categories of applications built on top of cryptocurrency technology. Then there are stablecoins, which are cryptocurrencies designed to maintain a stable value, usually pegged to the US dollar. $1 in, 1 coin out, redeemable at any time. These solve one of cryptocurrency's biggest practical problems, which is the wild price swings. If you're trying to actually use crypto to buy things or send money internationally, it's hard when the value might drop 20% overnight. And that brings us to the elephant in the room, the volatility. Let's be completely real about this. Bitcoin has dropped 80% from its peak multiple times in its history. 80%. If you had $10,000 invested and that happened to you, you'd be sitting on $2,000. People have lost life savings. People have lost retirement funds. People have made life-changing fortunes. Sometimes the same people, in the same year, in that exact order. The potential returns are real. The risks are equally real. Anyone telling you it's a guaranteed path to wealth is either lying or delusional. There's also the regulatory reality. Governments around the world are still figuring out how to handle cryptocurrency. Some countries have embraced it. Others have banned it outright. The United States is somewhere in the middle, with rules still being written and enforcement still evolving. That uncertainty itself is a risk factor that doesn't exist with traditional investments. So after all of this, what is cryptocurrency, really? It's a new form of money and financial infrastructure that removes the need for traditional middlemen like banks and governments. It's built on technology that makes cheating extraordinarily difficult. It gives people in countries with unstable currencies or broken banking systems access to financial tools they never had before. And it's also a highly speculative asset class, where fortunes are made and lost with terrifying speed. It is not magic internet money. It is not a guaranteed get-rich scheme. It is not inherently criminal or sketchy, and it is not going away. The underlying technology has already changed how people think about finance, contracts, and ownership in ways that will probably keep developing for decades. If you're thinking about putting money into cryptocurrency, treat it like any high-risk investment. Only put in what you can genuinely afford to lose completely. Understand what you're buying before you buy it. Ignore people promising guaranteed returns, and make sure it's part of a broader financial strategy, not the whole thing. Because the story of cryptocurrency is still being written, and understanding what it actually is, stripped of the hype and the fear, puts you in a much better position to decide what role, if any, it should play in your financial life.